Hi, Denise Dryden here from Whitefish, Montana. And I'm in a new place and it's so white. I'm trying to find some color to put in the background. So this week is going to be a transitional week on my live presentation. So let's just see how it goes. So today we're going to talk about change, the courage to make change, to create change. And I think that's an important topic for today because our world is sort of shifting and changing, and between our government, between, beginnings and endings, between the astrology, it's kind of crazy out there. And so I thought I would go through some tools on how to create change. Change is natural. It happens all the time. If we think about the seasons, we have the very beginning of growth coming up in the spring. And then we have the basking in the sun for the summer. And then we have the dying and going inward in the fall. And then we have that resting period in winter. And, our seasons change, the colors, the trees, everything changes in front of us. And yet we have a hard time dealing with change. It's also generational. If you look at what happens between parents and children and, what the parents emphasize, those who are World War II, who are now sort of ending lives and sort of passing on. Then we have the baby boomers, then we have the Generation Xers, and then we have the millennials. And each of these generations has a completely different focus on what is important to them and what matters. And, how they embrace technology, how they raise their children, how they work. These are deep changes that are like every 20 years in the generations. It's also relational. We have times in our relationships when we're intimate, times when we're connected, times when we drift, times when we're busy. We have relationships with our children, and our children age and they grow. So when they were toddlers, they needed one thing from us. When they're teenagers, they need something completely different. And when they're young adults, they need something different yet again. So we already naturally go through the stages of change within our family, within ourselves. However, there's this sort of locked in fear of what am I going to do if it requires me to change? And we sort of freeze up. And so I wanted to provide a tool that I learned at one of the programs that I coach. I coach parents through change in creating new perspectives and creating new alignment with their child. And so, it's kind of like the parents here, and I just make sure we're doing okay, we're balanced, we know what's going on. And then we talk about how to come into alignment with our child and meet them in a different way. And that requires deep changes on behalf of the parent. One thing that you may not know is that I also coach a therapeutic program here in Montana, and I get to go to their family retreats every maybe 2 months. And this tool is one of the tools that we always present, and it's wonderful. It's called the Zones of Learning. And I got this from the retreat, but also when I looked it up, because I couldn't remember the exact name of it, I found out that it was also used at the Syrian Economic Forum in 2015. And this is used for business models, it's used for family models, it's used for counseling models, it's used for a lot of different things. So, the zones of change, ways of stepping into change. And I have my little prop. I'm learning props are important. Okay, so the first thing we have is this center, which is called the comfort zone. Then we have the panic zone, which is the red. And this yellow zone in the center is called the zone of optimal learning. So let's go through them one at a time. So in the comfort zone, I've got my notes, it's always easier. We're comfortable, right? We can kind of hang out here. When we are in our comfort zone, what comes up for you? Just think about it for a second. What comes up for you when you're comfortable? It's like, oh, I'm content, maybe. That requires an activity of saying, I like where I am right now. I've made a choice to be right here and I'm content. A lot of us don't usually go there when we talk about being comfortable. We are lazy sometimes. We're safe. We're complacent. And in this place right here, there are no challenges. It's kind of like, oh, I'm doing really well. Just keep it right there. There's no intellectual effort. There's no energetic effort. There's no change. And we may even be really change resistant. So we set up patterns and we set up systems and we stay locked in those, and we believe that we are very, very comfortable. This is internally focused, and this sometimes, most of the time, is fear-based. I don't know what's out there. I'm not willing to take the chance. I'm not willing to join those younger kids doing that, or those parents who are going that direction, or even those students that I'm in school with who are going that direction. No, I'm going to stay right here where I'm most comfortable. You could be in pain and not take action when you're in the comfort zone. You could be numb and not even know it. You know, like sometimes people are like, tap, 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 wake up, and you don't even know how numbed out you are. You could be stuck, and you could be really resistant to getting out of this comfort zone. And this is a really great place if you're there and you like it. You know, it's kind of like, I know exactly what works for me, and this is as big as the parameter in my life is going to be. One more piece is sometimes with sensitives, this comfort zone is where we go when we're overwhelmed. We keep things as regimented and as systematic and as comfortable as possible because we get overwhelmed really easily. So if this is the comfort zone, let's talk about this panic zone, which is sort of anything, and this red circle can be miles wide. This is just a small one for my props. So the panic zone is what happens when we get out of our comfort zone and in an extreme way, which means that we not only are leaving what we know to be true and comfortable with ourselves, but we're anxious, we're tense, we're stressed out, our stomachs are tied in knots. Let's see, we're reactive. Oh my God, reactive. It's like, it's like we respond to anything that comes our way. So if the comfort zone is inner, the panic zone is outer. It's reactive to everything that's happening in the world and going a mile a minute. So for a lot of us who are multitasking and are overwhelmed with kids and activities and work schedules and relationships and all of the things we have to do, a lot of times we disconnect and we get out into this panic zone and we're running full speed on adrenaline. When we're in this external phase, we're not grounded. We're in response constantly. We're worried. Our stomachs are tied in knots. It's debilitating after a while. And we start to have health issues. Really interesting health issues that are all tied to adrenaline and stress in our body. Now, the most interesting thing is, for those in the comfort zone who think about change, they think about panic. That's what they're afraid of. They're terrified of what's going to happen when they shift out of their comfort zone, okay? So this middle zone, this beautiful yellow one right here, you know, what it tells us is that if we can just inch our way out of our comfort zone, that this section, it can be much bigger as well. This is just a drawing, but our optimal learning zone takes courage. It takes courage to step out of what's comfortable, and we get to do it at our own pace, which is like, you know, some people love to run and jump into the lake and go, wow, it's cold, or it's deeper than I thought, or, oh, it feels so good, I remember being a kid. And then there are those of us who will kind of go up and go, especially in Montana with the lakes as cold as they are, kind of step in and then go, oh, this isn't so bad, and step in. Oh, I like it. Step a little further, maybe even dive in and start swimming and realize the lake feels much better than I ever thought it would. That's optimal learning. It's realizing that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, you're being brave, you're trying something new, and it requires an interconnectedness to yourself, which is, you're going to be okay, we're going to do this, let's go. And then trying it and then checking in. How does it feel? Well, it feels pretty good. Take another step. That courage comes in. And it's like, wow, I can do this. And then you take another step. And then you take another step. And then you take another step. And so this interconnectedness with the world around you takes us out of being locked in our comfort zone or expanded into panic and reacting all the time. And it gives us a nice, pleasant way to own change. Okay? So courage is the ability to do something that frightens you, It's the ability to step through fear. And when we're in the optimal learning zone, what we're doing is we're allowing ourselves to try something that we're afraid of. Whether it's go to a yoga class, especially if you've never even been to a yoga class. Try a new ethnic food. Try making friends with somebody who's completely different than anyone you ever thought you'd be friends with. These are the ways that we learn and we expand. And like that Fibonacci that's always moving, the more we open up into allowing something different to happen, the more we're in that optimal learning zone. It takes courage, it takes strength, it takes bravery to step through change. So every situation has something to teach us. And when we're in the optimal learning zone, we are growth oriented. We're looking ahead and we're going, so is this in my highest interest? And then it's kind of like we play Marco Polo with our life, like Marco, and then you wait for the next thing in life to Polo over here, and you go, oh, I'm going to try that. Or I used to work with personal growth workshops, and it's kind of like on course or off course. And sometimes we're so on course that the universe is like, oh, you're so boring, you never do anything. Or there's this off course, red light, red light, red light. And then there's this, hey, you're doing okay. And you're navigating wider than the restrictions of your comfort zone. And if you get too far out, your body, your own soul inside is going to say, too fast, too far. And then you pull back. And you use your body and you use your internal dialogue to say, I'm doing okay. I'm going to try a little bit and I'm going to step in and I'm going to double check in, interact with all of these pieces of me and see if it works. Okay? When we make changes, the bottom line is some of them are going to be good and some of them are going to be bad. And some of them are going to be horrible and some of them are going to make you feel wonderful. And there are no mistakes. And yet at the same time, we're going to make mistakes and then we're going to turn around later and go, that really wasn't a mistake. It was just an opening of a door I wasn't willing to go through. And there will be failures. You'll go and you go, oh, never again am I going to another CrossFit class. That's for me. I'll stay next door at the yoga shop, please, thank you. So all of these are opportunities for change. And when we step into opportunity, we have that ability to check in with ourselves and go, this feels good. I wonder what wants to happen now. And then we respond with what our inner being is telling us that works. So this is what I do in coaching, is I nudge people into change and expand a perspective so that they can shift out of that stuck comfort zone into something new. And you can find me on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. And have a great Sunday, have a great week, and I'll see you next week on Easter Sunday. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.